What's going on, guys? Team Crystal Chaos here, bringing you another video today. Tonight we're going to be talking about how do we win at every single deal we do. Tonight I'm going to tell you guys some of the best ins and outs of negotiation tactics, things that I've learned just to win every deal that I'm in. Of course we want to win, man. We're trying to make money. We're trying to get the best deals that we can with every interaction, guys. So I'm going to take you guys through 7 things that I've picked up on that that have helped me to win every single deal. So I'm gonna hop right in. Number 1, never negotiate against yourself. Right? What does this mean, right? So let's say you're making a deal and you just be like, man, let's say the number that you start off at is like $10, right? Don't go down to 8 just because you're like, I'm gonna try to make this guy feel good. I'm gonna say $8. That sounds better, right? Don't jump your hands. Don't ever negotiate against yourself, right? If somebody walks up and says, I'm willing to pay retail for this card, let them pay retail. Don't be like, oh, well, I make 85% on TCG players, so it's cool. I'll do 85%. Now, that is like cool sometimes, man. Like, if you have somebody you really want to keep working with and it's something small, go for it. But like, if you have some random Billy Bob that walks up and is like, yeah, man, I'll pay retail. I'll pay more to retail. Let them negotiate against themselves, right? Like, don't overspeak, right? You don't need to say more than you need to say, right? So once you make an offer, don't keep talking, right? So let's say I have a binder I'm trying to buy. I'm like, all right, $50, right? Now I'm waiting for them to talk. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, this is the reason why I just said $50 and start talking, over speaking, and be like, oh yeah, so this isn't worth something, or this car is only worth a few dollars. Like, no, guys. After you make your price, they get silent. Don't say anything else. Don't say any more than you need to say, right? Don't increase your number without a counter, okay? So we can expect a lot of times that people are going to make a counter, you know what I'm saying? So I'll be like, all right, 50, that's my number. Let's say they say like 60, right? All right, now I can be like, all right, I'll meet you at 55, right? And we'll talk about like the numbers with that stuff in a minute, but don't just increase your number just because you feel like you have to, you know what I'm saying? Like, start with your number. Whatever you're saying, stick to that number. It looks weak, and it's just not good in deals. You want to stick at the number that you say, unless they throw another number at you, right? Because you don't know. A lot of times people might just be like, yeah, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might say $10 on a $20 card, just hypothetically, right? Let's say I throw a number out, like, yeah, $10. I'm expecting them to go up to 15. And these are just broad numbers. I'm not going by an exact thing or anything, but you know what I'm saying? Like, let people like ask if they want more, you know what I'm saying? Like, make your offer, and if they say no, I want this, then we talk. But a lot of times people just be like, yeah, that's fine, I'm cool with that, right? And let them be cool with that, right? Like, let them respond before you move, right? And these two things are kind of like in sync here, but they're kind of like the same thing. But the number 1, never ever negotiate against yourself. And even if you don't fully understand like the ins and outs of that, sometimes like when I'm making a deal, I'll think about this, like, don't negotiate against yourself. Just don't think about that. What does that look like for you, right? And that moves us on to the second point. Embrace silence and discomfort, right? So like I was saying, with not negotiating against yourself, after you make your deal, let the silence sit. Learn to be uncomfortable in that, right? So silence is powerful. We need to use it. Because if you feel uncomfortable, chances are the other person who's thinking about that same number is also feeling uncomfortable. You don't want to show that, though. You want to be firm on what you're saying and be confident there, right? Don't rush to fill the gaps, right? Let the other person feel the pressure to speak or adjust. So if we come to a number, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, $50 on a binder. We'll go back to the same example again, right? $50 for the binder. And they're like, man, like, they're thinking about like, I don't know, and they're just sitting there, you're thinking about it. They're in that little phase where they're like contemplating, like, do they want to do it? Now in that phase, I could be like, oh, would you take 60? And jump up before they've even kind of played their hand, right? So let's say, yeah, like think about that for a second. Why would I jump to 60 just because they didn't say yes off the spot? You're wasting money, right? You're wasting your money by speaking early. So let the other person feel that pressure, make them uncomfortable. If they want to be like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about it, man. They might be thinking a different number. Let's say, they're thinking they want 75. All right, then they say, okay, 75. Now you know kind of where their head's at, right? You can meet them somewhere in the middle at that point if it works for you, right? But like I said, do not rush to fill those gaps. That pressure is your friend, right? One person is going to abuse that side of the pressure. Don't be the person that's being abused by the pressure. Remember, we're making the deals, okay? The other person we want the person to agree with our deal. So we don't want to let that silence be wasted, right? Silence is powerful. Think about this. Really think about this, guys. We have a massive tool with this silence thing. Why let it be a hindrance towards us? Now, obviously, this isn't every single deal. Sometimes you have real easy deals where people are like, yeah, that's fine. That's perfect. Guys, we want quick deals. We want them to say yes to the first offer, man. Easy deals. Yes, cool, we're done. Now I'm going to go take myself somewhere else and do more deals, right? We don't want to spend a long time doing these deals. It's a waste. So, we want those deals to be quick. So if it's a one and done, man, I'm cool with it. I am absolutely cool with it. So, like I was saying, discomfort often will bring movement in your favor. If the other person is feeling it, let them negotiate against themselves. Don't do it to you, okay? So, number 2, embrace silence and discomfort. Moving on, number 3, and this is kind of where I was hinting at earlier with the numbers. We want to start low. We want to be lower than your real target, right? So, we want to begin the negotiations below where you actually want to the pay, or what you want somebody to pay for your cars, or what you want to pay for the cars. So, like I was saying, right? Let's say, okay, before I go anywhere, right? We're still using percentages. We're still going to be doing it in a way that is not scummy, right? So, I'm talking about on much broader senses of like collections, big piles of cards, right? So let's say we're talking about a $5 card. You're going to pay your X amount on that $5 card that you would pay normally, because again, the other person knows exactly what that percentage is going to be based on what you offer, right? So don't go being like, oh yeah, $1 on a $5 card, right? If the person knows it's $5, I'm like, no, you're a scumbag, right? I'm talking in a broader sense of collections, right? And obviously, apply this theory to start low wherever you can that makes sense. Like I said, don't offer, nothing on a $5, $10, $20 card, right? Because we don't want to be scummy, first of all. We want to give people we want to compensate people fairly, but in the range that we want to stay to the lowest possible point. We don't want to overpay, okay? And what that looks like for you is up to you, right? What that looks like for me is up to me. Our numbers can be completely different. As long as we're making profit, we don't care, right? But whatever that range is that you're comfortable paying is where you're going to stay. But like I was saying, let's go back to the $50 binder, for instance, right? Let's say the initial price of the retail of the binder that I have come to like realize, right? Like I've looked at it, I'm like, all right, I think the number is around $100. All right, we're trying to get, let's say our number is 65% that we know that we can be paying for, up to 70, somewhere in that range. I want to start at 50. I'm like, hey, would you take 50 on this binder? Now, again, this is kind of like jumping into another point that I'm going to have later, but like, don't reveal your hand too early, right? Keep the information close. You know that's $100. Does the other person know that's $100? Think about that for a second, right? Does the person you're dealing with, do they know the price of their binder? We don't know, but we know what we know. We have an idea in our head. We're the ones doing the research on the binder. We know that it's $100. That's the number we're working with. So if we start at 50, we can expect the person to go up, right? And we could probably expect them to go up maybe like $20, $25. And remember, it varies person to person, right? Somebody might be surprised that it's $50. Somebody might be like, $50 for this binder? Sheesh. I don't watch market watches. I don't know nothing about cards. You know what I'm saying? They just got cards like $50. That's cool. That's money in my pocket, man. You know what I'm saying? People out here these days, man, people need money. You know what I'm saying? People are poor out here these days. They will take your money and they'll be happy. They'll walk away with a smile on their face. But you just got that binder at 50%. You're chilling too. It's a win-win, man. So yeah, like I was saying, man, start low. Start lower than your real target. We want to start at a good number, right? So we have plenty of room for negotiation, right? This gives you a lot of room to compromise and still land where you want, right? Now, we know that our max that we want to pay in this situation is 70%, right? We don't want to go above 70%. That's just my again, the numbers are different. It's my opinion on it. It's my range. So I know I don't want to pay more than $70 for this binder because that profit margin gets smaller and smaller. So as they go up, let's say, you know, they're like, oh, we do 80 or 75. I'll be like, oh man, like he do 60. You know what I'm saying? We start moving up towards where they want. They start going down. That's how negotiations work, right? So they get lower and lower until we hit somewhere, and then if it keeps pushing to that $70 point, man, you get more and more uncomfortable. Like, man, I can go a little bit higher. 65. I don't know how much more I can do. You know what I'm saying? And you want to really push that point the higher it goes, right? Try to keep that number as low as possible, right? The lower you get, the more you win, right? Now, if you're going to offer some crazy numbers like $20, $30 on a $100 binder and you get away with it, man, you got that. But I would say try to keep it in a range that's fair, because at the end of the day, this person could always come back to you again. And if they find out, hey, this one card in this binder was like $50 and they had a bunch of other stuff, they're like, oh yeah, I got Juice Me. Then your name's at jeopardy, right? You need to be able to buy the cards within a range that is justifiable to explain if confronted, right? Like, don't buy something that's dumb expensive for real low, because again, you'll get away with it, you'll make that one-time profit, but is that really worth, you know, your name getting dragged through the mud? You know what I'm saying? It's not. Keep it in the range, right? And anchoring low helps to shape the expectation. So if I start at 50, they're assuming that, okay, 50 is around what I'm trying to pay. You know what I'm saying? They know, like, they're not going to get like way more out of me. We start low in that range so that the expectation is not like insane and off the walls, right? And if that doesn't work for them, it's fine. You know what I'm saying? We'll get into that too. And like I referenced earlier, number 4, keep your cards close, right? Think about this for a second. We play Yu-Gi-Oh, right? A lot of us play Yu-Gi-Oh. If you're here, you probably play the game. Would you play with your hand revealed? Really? Would you play with your entire hand revealed? No, you're not playing with your hand revealed. You know what I'm saying? Like, your opponent doesn't have the Eye of Truth or whatever that freaking bulk trap card is that looks at your opponent's hand, right? No. We keep our cards close, as all the information we want to have, we're keeping. So starting with that is only share numbers when necessary and never over-explain, okay? You put your numbers, you keep as many numbers close to your chest as possible. Like I was saying, with the binder, we're not saying, hey, this binder's worth $100, you take 50? No, we don't say that. And sometimes what you can actually do is ask the other person, like, hey, what do you think this is worth? What if they say $50? Cool. Then we can offer a number based on that, right? You don't want to be telling people all the numbers. Like, don't break down every single thing unless necessary, right? If it's not necessary, if they don't ask, don't explain it, okay? Never over explain your stuff. Try to keep as much information as possible to yourself, all right? But like I said before, be prepared to explain your logic if asked. So you have to have it to a point, like I said with the binder, that you can justify it if confronted. Like, what are these piles worth? What were you paying on this? And it has to be explainable to a point where it makes sense for your business model, okay? We're not telling everybody the business model, you know what I'm saying, that we're doing business with, but we do need to keep it in a range that is justifiable to be a fair price for what we're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? And whatever, like I said, whatever that looks for you is, it goes from person to person. But don't volunteer the information. Don't be like, okay, here's the 50-cent pile, here's the dollar pile, here's the 150 pile. No. Unless they ask, and if they ask, that's totally fine. Explain it then. But remember, it is a risk if you're buying this stuff for scumbag prices at that point, right? And then avoid giving away your ceiling or floor too early. So, and this goes for buying and selling. If somebody's buying off you, you'd be like, okay, you know the number that you're trying to get in that range, or what you're willing to pay. I'm not going to be like, okay, for the binder, I'm not telling the person, hey, my max is 70%, I'm not going higher than this. They're then going to be like, oh, that's the best you can do? Okay, 70%, like, I'll take that $70, right? No, try to get the best deal you can. Don't give away free information. moving right on. Number 5, this is something I kind of came up with, is like, let them do more than you do, right? And the way I kind of had this phrase was more, you know, with like the talking and stuff, but there's more to it than this. So my thing is, like, let them talk more, let them, you know, look at more, let them be doing more than you're doing in that moment. I'll explain what I'm saying. So let people yap, man. The more they talk, the more you learn. So let people dictate the conversation, be agreeable, make them feel like you're their friend, man. Like, if somebody's sitting there talking to you, bro, you're buying a collection, you're pricing it out, and they're like, yeah, man, like, talking about like this video game or this movie that came out or the deck they're playing and all the combos it does, be like, yeah, man, that's cool. Like, agree with them, right? You don't have to necessarily care, but make it seem like you care. You know what I'm saying? I've had plenty of times where I was making a deal with somebody and they're talking my ear off, man. I'm letting them talk. I'm like, that's fine, man. Nice, cool. And just be nice. You know what I'm saying? And it helps people feel more comfortable. You know what I'm saying? So let people yap, let them talk, and when they talk, you will learn more by asking them these questions while they're talking. Like, hey, like, oh, did you know how much? Did you know how many of these you had, or like the quantity of this, or maybe like, you know, what did you think this was worth? Like, just asking these questions in this, let them throw their whole hand out, because a lot of these people don't have self-control. You know what I'm saying? Like, just let them talk, let them go crazy, and just be their friend. Be cool with them. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a douchebag or nothing, but, you know, just be chill with them. Let them talk. Let them have fun. Talking your ear off. And then next is have more inventory than they do. The more cars they get to look at gives you more time to assess this stuff, to see if you want to make it, even if you want to make an offer on the whole binder, right? Like, this is a really a much better concept for trading, because you want the other person to be looking at your stuff for way longer than you're looking at theirs. Let's say you have one binder, they have one binder they're showing you, and I have 4 in a box I'm showing them. It's gonna take them 4 times longer, or probably even longer, because I would expect myself to look through cars way faster than they do, because I have the eye for it, right? Let them be looking through stuff for way longer, because then you get a better chance to really assess everything in that moment, figure out prices for yourself, and have more information by the time they're done looking through your stuff. Also, they might find more cards, and you want them to find more cards. You want to be moving more than you're picking up in that sense, because you want to be profiting. You know what I'm saying? You want the other person to buy cards off you, or to, you know, pick up a lot of bull crap for something good. And there's a billion different ways that can go, but yeah, try to have more inventory than everybody else does, and that attracts attention as well. You know, you get more deals. Be like, oh, he got all these binders, I want to see what he's got. You know. And then another thing is, when you're picking up their cars, like, pick up a lot of cars at once. The more time and energy spent doing a deal will actually make people more committing to closing the deal. This doesn't necessarily fall in line with this, but I really didn't know where to put this. But yeah, if we pick up a lot of cars at once, the more cars we're picking up and the more time we spend doing the deal, at the end of that deal, like, the other person is going to be more ready to do it just because of how much time we spent, and they'll just be like, man, we just spent an hour trying to figure this out. Like, all right, bro, like, I'll like, they may be easier to finish, right? But if you ever get like a phone, or you're at like a car sale, like you're buying another car or something, or anything where somebody's trying to sell you something, you will actually see a lot of these tactics being used. But the more time you spend with somebody, like, I remember when I bought my car, like, I spent like 3 hours in the car dealership, and the guy's talking to me, he's making me feel real welcome. I'm like, man, all right, cool. And by the time the product came around, man, I was ready to buy that car, man. I was like, yeah, this joint's fire. This is nice. I want this. So, you know, the more time and energy spent with somebody, the people feel more, you know, like, hey, I spent time with you. Like, you know, we chilled, we hung out, you know, we talked cars, we talked everything else. Yeah, like, I'm your friend, basically, that type of energy now. So, yeah, so try to pick up a lot at once. Like, if you could buy a collection, do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't stray away from that. But remember, like, your time is valuable. So don't, like, waste time on purpose. Okay, like, use the time wisely, but, like, the more you pick up by default will make this happen, most times. But do not let this concept force you to pick up stuff you don't want. So just because we're picking up a lot, like, don't go picking up, like, like high-end stuff or like bulk that you personally don't want to deal with, right? So like for me, let's say somebody had like some crazy collector card or something. Let me see for a second here what I got. Let's see what I got. Let's see like this something like this, like a OT Chaos Emperor. This isn't even the one, but let's say like it's an old card like Chaos Emperor Dragon, right? Let's say this card was $100 and it was going into the deal, but I know this card is sitting and nobody's picking this up for a while. If I don't want that, I'm not grabbing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm certainly not paying the same on something that's gonna sit. That's just my philosophy. I don't like it when cards sit for a long time. It's just like hard to move. There's like a very specific market for it. Same thing with like graded cards. I know I had like a comment asking about that. Shout out to that guy. But yeah, I mean, just don't pick up stuff. Don't feel obligated to pick up things you don't want, and don't like feel pressured to like pay like a price you don't want for something if you're picking up a lot, right? Like the time and energy spent doing a deal should be more on the other person than you, right? Like don't be afraid to like let the deal walk, because again, we'll get into that later, but people will a lot of times come back. But moving on, number 6 is fish for information. I kind of hinted on this earlier. Ask open-ended questions and listen carefully. So like I was saying, like, hey, like, do you know like what this stuff's worth? Or, you know, try to get a sense of like maybe how they feel about their collection. Is this a person that doesn't really care about their trade binder and just has it, right? Or maybe somebody who is more attached to certain cards. You'll find people that have like sentimental value to certain things, or like, oh man, I might need that card for next format. Just things like that, where try to get a real feel for like what you think the person is willing to do with their stuff, because not every person that you come across is going to even want to sell you stuff. But it's really just about like figuring that out, so you don't waste time trying to be like, hey, I'm gonna look at this guy's binder and not say a word, just like, can I buy this? And then spend like 15 minutes looking at it and then be like, hey, would you sell your whole binder? Nah, I'm good, y'all don't want to sell it. You know, like, try to figure that stuff out early and often, so that you don't waste time, like, you know, not knowing who the person is or what they're trying to do. Just so try to fish for that information. People will often reveal like what they want for a card, or show if they have no idea what it's worth. And that comes from asking those questions like, hey, do you know what your collection is worth? Did you have a number you wanted for this? And if a lot of times what they say is no. Oh, I have no clue. I don't know. I never thought about selling my binder. And honestly, like, I had sold my Edison binder recently, like a whole thing, and the guy was like offering me a number. I was like, dude, I have no idea, because I never thought about selling my binder. I ended up doing it because it was a good number, and I got what I wanted on it. But yeah, like, people will reveal this stuff, and a lot of times they have no idea what their binder's worth. And if they do, they're either gonna be like, you could get it for like real low. You know what I'm saying? They could have a number that's real low, like, I don't know, like $20. Or you might have somebody that's like, oh, I want $1,000 for this, and it's unrealistic, and then you go from there, right? But try to get that information, fish for it while you're doing it. But use this info to gauge leverage and steer the deal in your favor, right? Information is power, guys. Having that information is like having hand knowledge of your opponent, right? Like, you know, we're talentless in our opponent, you know what I'm saying? Like, Talents is at 1, but we get to do this every deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, we get to look at our opponent's hand, and that's what we're trying to do. Now you might have smarter people that don't activate a monster effect in main phase or not. You know what I'm saying? That hold their cards close, and they're smart and they're disciplined with their information. But there are people out there, a lot of times, like Yu-Gi-Oh players, they don't have self-control. They don't read. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, man? Like, they don't hold their tongue, right? Let them talk, right? Use that information and steer the deal in your favor based off that information. And finally, number 7 I have is master the lingo, right? So develop your own language around buying and selling, right? The way you talk about stuff matters. The way things are framed matters, right? The better you get at this, the more efficient you'll be to really like framing things the way you want it. The way you ask things, the way the way you say things matters. Like, use phrases that signal control and confidence. So something like, let's say like there's a collection like going back to the binder again, right? You say, I can do $50 on this. Instead of saying, would you take $50? You're instead like assuming like you're in control of that sense. Like, hey, like this is what I can do on it. It just is what it is. And obviously, like, you know, if they want to go up, go up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know that number that you're going to. But a lot of times, if you frame it like this instead of saying, would you take this on it? There are benefits in both of these. Like, it really depends on the person. Like, giving this option is more so like making them feel like they're in control, but you have to read the person. But saying I can do versus would you, like, don't ask questions unless you have to. Just be like, yeah, this is what I'm able to pay on it. Like, this is the situation. Like, I am physically able to do this. Like, I don't know what else I can do besides what I'm saying right now. Essentially, that's the feeling you want to do. Like, when stores do it, like when you sell to like a store or a vendor, like a real vendor, like a table, like behind a table at an event, they will say this is what I can pay on it. And then sometimes you'll be like, man, I was thinking, can you do a little bit better on it? Then they start going up, but they know the negotiation tactics. They know how that works. And then assume the deal's happening. Like, you know, be like, cool, let's get this done. Like, cool, that sounds good. Like, try to like assuming the deal was something that like I kind of learned in a sales job before, and just like through my dad. Like, he did sales and stuff, so it was one other thing. Like, it was just like an important thing is assuming the sale. Like, don't like assume like that it might not get done. Just always act like the deal is going to get done. Like, you'll figure it out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. And then like I said, the way you frame things influences perception and outcome. Just the way you talk about things matters. The way you ask things, the way you carry yourself in these deals, all this stuff matters. So master the lingo, figure out what works for you, figure out what the words and stuff are that help you to get by. And then just as a bonus, the question I would ask, like I could get would be like, what should I do if I don't like the price? Let's say that, you know, you've gone through the deal, the person is just like, oh no, I want $90 on this binder. I'm not moving. I want 90. Like, that's when you do like your little flinch, right? This is where you do like the like that type of stuff. Like, give it like a you know, one of those type of things where it's like, I don't know. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then just let the silence do the work, right? Like, say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Just be like, try to act like surprised, like, like I see a lot of people do that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like try to show you're caught off guard. Like, wow, that's kind of crazy that you're asking this. But don't say it. Don't be like, yeah, that's an insane price. Just be like, show them that like those little like uncomfortable emotions. Like, oh, that's just not gonna work. Like, show them that you're uncomfortable with it. And then like say nothing, right? And then then that silence, what that will do is, if you wait and let them feel the pressure, a lot of times it makes them negotiate against themselves. They'll be like, you know, they might have been real strong on a 90, but like, dang man, they get real uncomfortable and they're like, oh, maybe I can do 80. And I'd be like, man, I was thinking more like 60, 65 maybe, and then you kind of find that middle ground where your max was. But like, if all else fails and they're just like not budging at all, and they're just like, yeah, no, I want this 90. I want this $90. You tell them this, and this is a line that I've used plenty of times. Unfortunately, I can't make anything off what you're asking, so there'd be no point in paying for it. So just be like in more of like like, I get it, like I get what you're asking, I understand. It's like, try to make them feel reasonable. Like, yeah, I get it, man. Like, I understand. Like, if you want to go somewhere else, it's fine. Like, don't be afraid to lose. Like this last part is, don't be afraid to lose a deal. The person who cares the least often wins. Like, some people will walk away and come back and take your offer. So if you have to, let the deal walk. Unless the deal is like really insane. Like, if it's something like, you know, you can't pass up on, like, make it work. You know what I'm saying? Make it happen. But don't be afraid for somebody to walk away. And a lot of times people will come up to you with like maybe like a card, like a play set of something that's expensive. Like, I remember the one time somebody had brought me 3 CR bonfires, and I was trying to pay 65 to 70% on them, and they were like, yeah, I can't do it, man. I'm like, well, if you change your mind, this offer stands. Like, but I just can't make anything on what you're asking, because he was asking like 85%. I was like, yeah, I just want to make anything off TCG players, so there's no reason for me to buy it. And just like try to be like understanding of their situation. And a lot of times, don't walk around with that bull crap that they got, that that like the CR bonfires, and just be like, yeah, these cards, they were like $100 at the time. Nobody wants those. You know what I'm saying? You gotta find like a very specific person, right? Let me do the work. Let the vendor do the work, right? The guy waited the whole day. He tried to flip him. He got frustrated. He came back. He said, "I'll do it, bro. It's all right." So the end of the day, like, don't be afraid to lose a deal. Don't show them how much you care, right? And this is especially like serious in the deals. Like, this should have been its own point in itself, to be honest with you. Like, do not show how much you care about something. If there's like a deal that's just like, wow, this guy has got some crack stuff, I would love to have this. Don't walk out to be like, bro, I need this binder right now. Like, don't show them like how much you want it. Chill out. Let them be uncomfortable. Don't tell them anything crazy, because if they know how bad you want it, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, bro, like, oh no, you really want this, right? Now they're gonna be driving the price up because they know how much you want it, right? Don't show that, right? But yeah, man, like, don't overplay your hand. Don't overplay your hand there. Let people walk if they have to. But yeah, this Google Doc I can put down in the description below for you guys to look at. This is free information. So I hope you guys found some value in this. I hope that you guys go out and make some really good deals. Comment down below, man. I love to hear it. Like, tell me about, I want to hear the stories, man. I want to hear how you use this information and plus like crazy on the deal, man. Come on, man. I want to hear it. So comment down below, man. Subscribe if you guys aren't already. Like the video, and keep following for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Vending quality tips. So with that being said, Team Crystal Chaos signing out.